Good morning, students. So today let's start the next topic. That is the third topic of population interaction, which is known as parasitism. Now, parasitism means the relationship between two living organisms of different species, in which one organism will harm the other. Now, for example, there are two species, species 1 and species 2. One will harm the other organism. It will act by somehow or the other. So, that two particular species, one is known as the parasite and other is known as the host. That is the particular organism which will live on the other organism, obtaining its food, is known as the parasite, and that on which it is living is called the host. Now, the mode of infection of parasitism are either it may be infected directly. If the parasite directly comes in contact with the host, then it will attack it and show its reactions. Or it may come in contact, the infection may be done by contaminated water and food. Sometimes the contact with infected organisms. Suppose a particular person is being infected or diseased with the particular parasite. So if we come in contact with them or any organism come in contact with them, so disease will be spread. Then boring through the skin. Some particular parasites will enter into the organism host by boring through them. That means by piercing through the skin and enter into the body, and or sometimes by animal bites. So these are the main modes of infection. Directly it may infect contaminated food and water, contact with infected organisms, boring through skin, and animal bites. Now parasite also, it is a living organism. So what happens? It may also face some particular problems during its entry into the host. So it develops some particular type of adaptation so that it doesn't face any problem and easily can enter into the host. So first is that it has resistant eggs and cysts, so that if the conditions are not favorable, its eggs and cysts do not get destroyed away. Then it possesses some adhesive organs like suckers, hook, for example leech. Now you have already seen leech, everyone have seen leech, how it attacks. It has some adhesive organ, the suckers, which will stick to the skin. Then sometimes what happens, some body organs are lost, like the wings in case of bed bugs. So they will, that is an adaptation mode. Some unnecessary organs will be eliminated. So these are, and they have higher rate of multiplication. So once they enter into the body of the host, immediately their multiplication starts. So what happens, if one or two dies also, no problem. Others will survive and will act as a parasite and will infect the particular organism. Okay, and another one important fact is that involvement of one or two intermediate hosts. Sometimes in order to complete the life cycle, more than one or two hosts are applied or needed for parasitism. Now next we come to the types of parasitism. The first type is ectoparasite. Now ecto means external, so the parasite which remains in the external surface of the host is called the ectoparasite. For example, the human louse. All of you are familiar with human louse. That means we call it as ukoni. So what happens? It remains to the external surface. So that is the ectoparasite. Next is endoparasite. Endoparasite means it remains inside the body of the organism. That is, for example, the tapeworm. Then comes temporary parasite. Temporary parasite means the type of parasite which will come in contact with the host only for a very short time. It will just act on the host, absorb its nutrition, and will just move away. For example, the mosquito, or we can say it as the leech also. So mosquito, we are all familiar about it. It comes near to the host, bite the host, and just immediately moves away. Next is the permanent parasite. Permanent parasite means those which remain permanently in the host body throughout the lifetime. For example, Entamoeba histolytica. Then next is holoparasite. Holoparasite is actually a plant parasite, and it depends on that particular plant, that is the host, for all its requirement, food, nutrition, everything, and even for shelter also it will depend on the host plant. So that is the holoparasite. For example, Cuscuta. Next is hemiparasite. Hemiparasite, it is also known as semi-parasite. That is, it is able, semi means half. So it is able to prepare its food. But what happens? For obtaining water and mineral, it will depend on the host. So that is the hemiparasite. For example, Centella. Centella means the chandan tree. Next is root parasite. Root parasite, the name itself indicates that the parasite resides in the root region. That means the parasite which will attack the host in the root portion are known as the root parasite. For example, Rafflesia. Next is the stem parasite. Stem parasite means that particular parasite which will attack the host in the stem region. Next is obligate parasite. Now you have already come across the term obligate and facultative. For aerobic and anaerobic respiration we have got it. Obligate means they will not at all consider any other conditions. They will need only the condition what is required. That means these particular parasite cannot live anywhere without the contact with the host. They have to need the host. Host is needed for their survival. For example, Ascaris. Then facultative. Facultative means they will live freely. They are adjustable. Whatever condition, it is adjustable. So they will live freely, but when they come in contact with the host, they will act as a parasite. For example, Clostridium tetani. Next comes the phytoparasite. Phyto means plant. So that parasite which live on the plant and take plant as the host is called the phytoparasite. For example, Cuscuta means the holoparasite, phytoparasite almost the same only. Then zooparasite. Zooparasite means the animal which have adapted parasitic mode. So those are called the zooparasites. Like the stem borers. These are animals or insects which will act as parasite. Next is hyperparasite. Hyper means more. So a parasite which act as a parasite over another parasite. For example, the bacteriophage. Now bacteriophage act on bacteria. So bacteria we consider it sometimes harmful because it is a parasite. So it will act on another pathogen or one parasite acting over another parasite. So that is the hyperparasite. Next is pathogenic parasite. Pathogen means that particular which will cause the disease. So these parasites will cause disease to the host. For example, Plasmodium. Next is the non-pathogenic parasite. The parasite which consume either the body waste or take a very small amount from the host. That means it will not affect the host. Without affecting the host, it will continue its mode of nutrition. That is known as the non-pathogenic parasite. For example, the Entamoeba coli. Next is the brood parasite. The brood parasite is important because here what happens, the example is cuckoo bird. The cuckoo bird, what happened? It lays its egg in the crow's nest during the spring and summer time. Now their eggs are very similar to the host. Now here the crow is the host and cuckoo bird is the parasite. So the host eggs and the parasite eggs are very similar. So the crow is misleaded. So it doesn't recognize it. So it easily allows the eggs to remain there. So this parasitic association is known as the brood parasite. Now often question comes, what is brood parasite, to give example. Others are also important, questions will come, but this brood parasite frequently question is asked. So you prepare this one properly. So these are the all the important things of parasitism. Now infection mode, adaptations of parasite, then types of parasite. All these points are very important for you. So study them properly, but very necessary, go through the books because more than 2-3 examples are provided in the books. So go through each and every example.